If Lil Durk asked me for hard, dark, energetic samples, here's exactly what I would send through. So started off this sample with this simple dark piano melody, which sounds like this. We're hearing the scale of D sharp minor, and it's just a 5, 6, and then the 1, 2, 3 walking up, then same 5, 6, then some variation going down. But whenever you want to make like dark, energetic, it's kind of fast type of melodies that still sound very dark and not too melodic, always use the 5 and the 6 and the 2 and the 3 and just come up with patterns around those. Now let's get into the sauce. I actually added an initial reverse on there to reverse the sound and an EQ to cut out the lows. And this is what it sounds like. Now here's where it gets unique. I exported this part out as an audio file, and then I did the same but just with a halftime on there, so it's slower. And what we get then is those two audio files. Now for the first one, routed it to a new mixer track and added a Portal preset from my Vision Portal bank, which is part of the Vision multi-kit, which you can get for free in the description. And it's the vintage preset, so this part of the melody sounds like this. Now for the second part, which was the half-timed melody, I just added an EQ, boosted some of the mids, cut out the lows. This is what that sounds like. Two melodies together sound like this. And if you listen to them now, they don't really sound like they were pianos besides the lower reversed one. One of the biggest tricks I can give you is just export out your patterns, flip them again, add some new effects, add some weird stuff, speed them up, cut them up, change stuff, layer them with themselves, but one is half-timed and with different effects. That's just all the things you can do with exporting stuff, and it's just a huge game changer if you're making samples. Of course, laying down the foundations, following the root notes and filling out the whole sample. I forgot to mention that I've pitched up the exported files to semitones, so we're in F minor now. I've took the root notes over 2 octaves and the lower octave a little bit lower velocity, because sometimes when it's a dark piano they clash a little, so you want to take down the lower octave. Technically, as a rule, whenever your piano sounds muddy, just pull down the velocity on the lower octave, just following the basic progressive pattern, so it gets some movement, which we go from the 1 to the 6 and then down to the 5. You could even stay on the 5 or go up to the 7, but if you go up to the 7 it sounds more melodic. So we're going for some dark energetic stuff here, so I'm going down to the 5. This is what that sounds like. A common mistake I see a lot of people make is not cutting out the low end of their dark pianos, and that's just such a no-go. Because imagine just every time someone pulls in your loop in their FL Studio, they still have to cut out the low end. Even if they take out the bass, they still have to cut out the low end, and it's just a little bit of extra work for the other producer that makes them want to use your loops less. Always cut out your low ends around 100 Hz, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. Just depends on the whole feeling of the melody, so it guarantees doesn't clash with the 808. Now the sample so far is fire, but for me it was missing some speed, some energy. So what I added is this quick pattern, which sounds like this. And it's actually pretty simple deconstructed. It's from the 5 to the 1, so kind of this movement, which always sounds good, and then just moving up from the movement. Then just going up to the 2 and the 3 and the 4 to make it more unique, so it isn't just the C and the F the whole way through. I mean, this could work too, but it just sounds a little bit boring, so we've added some variations in there. Now the preset is a Lutz Live sus tremolo from the East West Hollywood Fantasy Strings in Opus. And I added an underwater Portal preset, also from my Vision Portal kit, and an EQ to cut out the lows. When doing dark melodies, what I always like to do is add in choirs or some sort of phrase or some sort of choir, because in my opinion a good choir makes every dark melody 10 times better. So here's a choir pattern I added. It's relatively simple, it's more meant to be in the background, but here's how that sounds like. Just a simple pattern going from the 1 to the 5, repeating over and over again. And I've used a kind of swell sound that comes in a little bit slower from Mosaic Voices. Pretty fire. Didn't add any effects, but I did add some stereo separation. And whenever you're making those background melodies or those lead melodies, which you don't want to have that loud, but you want to increase the presence of them in the mix, you can just increase the stereo separation either here or add a Furio stereo shaper. Lastly, of course, a bass to fill out the whole sample to make it full. Again, just following the root notes. Pretty simple. I took the whole sample, exported it out, pitched it up 1 semitone, and here's what the finished sample sounds like with some drums on there. If you need more tips and more guidance on how you can make your melodies more unique, of how you can flip more of your stuff that you make, check this video out.